Welcome back to another City Skylines video. Today is a big one. It is almost entirely time-lapse. We got 51 minutes of time-lapse. If you do want to skip it, there'll be a YouTube chapter, and I'll try to cover everything at the end of it in just regular gameplay, but I might miss some stuff. But yeah, so we're starting off finally redoing the end of this tram line that I kept saying I was going to do, but I never got around to. And I figured while I started doing it, I might as well start recording it because you guys always want to see the stuff I do. I know some of it I don't record. This time around, I try to record a lot more of it. There was still a lot of stuff that I didn't, but it was just more so the tedious stuff, which I guess we'll cover as we get into the video and as we, have the tour at the end as well. I'm sure there'll be a few things here and there that changed. Now, this car park, I kind of just needed to redo it because it was kind of annoying. It wasn't fitting just right. And I was trying to squeeze in the tram track. I needed to squeeze in this parking lot. I also wanted pedestrian access everywhere, so that's why I added a crossing into that parking lot road so pedestrians can actually walk through it. Adding a crossing here on the tram track as well. Trying to make it look cool by doing custom stuff. It didn't look that good. I think it does end up staying yellow, but I get rid of the black or the gray because I was trying to work with that. We'll get a better look at that later. I fiddle around a lot more with that. And I think I'll just show you in the live play at the end. Now, around this area, oh man, this is the biggest part of change in this entire video. Essentially, this entire hillside leading up to where the theme park is, we build this episode. I know there was some people that weren't too sure about having the cable car going up the hill. It does look strange going up with nothing there. Obviously, I've added some roads around there now, but you got to trust me. I usually, I mean, sometimes I completely scrap an idea, but usually when I'm sort of planning stuff out in the previous episode, it doesn't look that great because we're sort of doing it in real time. I'm trying to do it as I'm talking and all that. And it's usually just like, this is the general idea of what I want to do. And here today, we're coming through and really, really polishing it up and refining it. I'm super excited by this. So this whole area is so hilly. So I thought, let's do more of the San Francisco style stuff. So there's a lot of those San Francisco style houses and buildings around here. So a lot more of it. I don't think it's too much. I think it works really, really well. I did try to mix it in with some of the regular sort of looking buildings as well. Like obviously down here, we've got some of the vanilla buildings, and I do some more vanilla buildings around the place and some other properties that aren't the sort of San Francisco style, just so it's obviously not one big block of the same type of building. But yeah, we're running a big grid through the area, which is very... Okay, I gotta stop saying San Francisco, but it's very much like that city. Like, it's essentially just a grid plonked on top of like super hilly terrain. And that's what I'm doing through this area. Like, we're gonna utilize all this space, or as much of it as we can. There's obviously big cliffs, so that's why you saw when I put that parking lot up there, I did a key along underneath it because it's essentially a sheer cliff straight down to the beach, which I quite like. I think it creates some really interesting elements that we get to see sort of come to life later on. And just playing around with some roads here, setting up where the priority should be, which a sort of flow of traffic will be the main one. And I actually might need to revisit a little bit of that at the end of this time lapse because building up this whole area, when I started building this, I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but I didn't quite know how much I was going to do. And we do a lot. So just doing a little laneway down the back here. I do really love that big cliff. And, when I first put that shopping mall in, that vanilla shopping mall, like, yeah, it is an ugly building, but I think it's like the right kind of ugly, especially with everything I end up building around it. We got a lot more commercial space. The whole place comes alive a lot more. And I think it really fits in now with all that kind of stuff. Before, it was just this giant road coming down here alongside a cliff with not really much going on down there. And a lot of people were wondering why we have such a big road down there. And it was a good question. I don't know. We had this huge, 4-lane road with trams in the middle, and it just ran to a parking lot, which, yeah, is a bit strange. The road wouldn't need to be that big. Now it makes a lot more sense, and you'll see why as we continue through the video. There's just a lot more stuff that appears. So here as well, big sheer cliffs. I do some greenery on it, and then we're putting some houses and stuff along the top edge. And let me tell you, if you had some of the property up here, man, that'd be good. That's a good view. Except I guess you have that giant apartment building in the newer section of the city down the bottom that kind of looks in. They're like 125 person building. Now I did do a few little custom colors here on some of these buildings, but I kind of quickly gave up on that because it's really tedious. You have to go through one by one, clicking, selecting a color, adjusting. I did some of it, but I kind of think I didn't really need to go too nuts on that, so I kept it pretty simple. But yeah, so I'm trying to do not just all the row houses. Obviously, we got a lot of these painted lady houses here, these ones with the pitched roofs. But I was trying to mix it up with the different style of houses that we're placing up here too, so it's not all the same. Like I said, I didn't want just one big block where it's like, okay, this is that district. Obviously, it's a very distinctive area, but it should also feel like part of the city as a whole. Like it shouldn't just be cut off and just its own thing. And so yeah, up here, I think I do like a big Woolworths or something. Or I do a cheesecake factory. Very nice. Yeah, on the corner we got a cheesecake factory. Then I think I put like a Woolworths or something next to it, so like a grocery store. So like I said, I'm trying to mix it in a bit more, so it's not as separated from the rest of the city. Like I also, if you look at our like RCI demand down the bottom where you can see how much residential, commercial, and industrial our city needs, we don't actually need that much residential right now. There's a lot more demand for commercial properties and industrial properties than more housing. So by putting more of these like restaurants and grocery stores and commercial properties in, it also just helps the city grow. Because if we only zoned or only placed more residential, we're just not, the city, it's just not going to grow. Like we'll have houses, but they're just going to sit empty because no one's going to move in. And we're getting tantalizingly close to that 50,000, but I think I need to build way more industrial and commercial because we're building a lot more houses. You know, our population does go up throughout this video, but not by a huge amount. So I think maybe in the next episode, we might have to build some more, some commercial and industrial somewhere, or maybe expand some of our industrial districts as well. But yeah, it's all coming along quite nicely. Oh yeah, so this is where I was like, oh, what if I make this whole road this style house? And I looked at it and I'm like, no. And then I stopped recording and I deleted half of them. There's still some of them there, but I was like, okay, let me just stop recording and fix that. Yeah, so that's also another point where I decided this needs to be very different. Like we can't have it all the same, otherwise it's just not going to work. Now, one thing that I really love about San Francisco, that's another, I don't know how many times I've said it in the first 7 minutes of this video, but there's where the painted ladies actually are, the famous row houses, is on a big park. And we don't really have that kind of space in our San Fran district area. So I actually decided to incorporate that here in this new section that we're building as well. So you'll see that sort of come to life. Now this area down here, I was sort of just redoing it. I think I removed the crossing off that big intersection and sort of shifted it back because it was a little hectic, especially now that we're getting this whole area is having a lot more going on in it. We need the roads to actually make sense and not just be nuts. So yeah. So this area here, these houses are lining the park. So where I put those pipes around in the middle of that, it's a big park. It is basically just a big grass space. It's not actually a park within the game. Like I haven't made it a proper park, but I guess we could do that. It'd probably be nice. Maybe that's something we can do when we jump into the game at the end here. But all around, just these houses all placed along nice and neatly, you know? And just trying to, like, you can see the way I'm placing them. I'm trying to pick out different ones, put them in different orders. And I think it works. I mean, there might be one of the same house next to itself. It's really hard to tell, honestly. But from any reasonable distance that we're going to be viewing this, like, we're never zooming in that close and looking at everything. I think it looks great. I think it totally works. I'm super happy with it. Actually, this park is really nice too, because a lot of people end up walking through it, like just as a way to get around. So I was quite happy with that. So I just did basic pathways, a little bit curvy, and then some trees around the outside, then a few trees along, like in the middle a little bit. But I also wanted to have some nice views. So like when we zoom in, look at the houses, you can see like the bay behind it and all that. Well, actually, it's not the bay, that's the ocean. The bay's the other side. Well, it's not even really a bay, it's just a river. I guess I really am thinking of this as San Francisco. Oh, this area is cool. So this was a suggestion when I first built the other San Fran section, was to add in Coit Tower, which is a very iconic building. You might even recognize it now that I've placed. Very iconic building in the city. So I decided this is where I'm going to put it. Obviously, it's not 100% accurate to the real thing. I obviously took inspiration from it. There is like a road that's kind of like that, where it sort of spirals up around it almost with the real one. The position of where this is and the stuff surrounding it is definitely not the same. But you know, I was taking inspiration from the real thing. Now, I also have this road coming along the cliff, and oh boy, I got really excited here because I thought that looked epic. So I originally said that I wasn't going to build a bridge to the other side of the river along this road. I did, and it's really cool. It's so cool. It's so cool. But I think that comes later. I mean, when I say the bridge is cool, the bridge itself is actually pretty lame. But the road leading up to the bridge, like here along the cliff, I built it out and around like all these rocks, and it looks great. I'm so happy with it. Like, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I did in this time lapse, man, I am super happy with it. But yeah, this is the beginnings of it. Starting off pretty basic. I actually ended up downloading a lot more rocks from the workshop because these vanilla rocks were just not cutting it. So I went back and downloaded some extra rocks, and I put those in a little bit later. But yeah, this little Coit Tower area, I'm pretty excited by it because a lot of people actually want to visit it. And we actually have a cable car stop right near it. And I think the cable car, being the classic sort of stock that it is, also works perfectly going past this landmark. Like, I don't know. I think it's all sort of panned out really, really nicely. I don't know how 90% of our cities ended up being San Fran inspired, but I'm here for it. I love it. I think it's turning out so great. Yeah, these hills here are pretty dang steep, and some of these buildings I think work super well on it. And now again, I'm trying to get in some commercial property here, so I'm just trying to see what's going to fit. I really want something here that isn't just housing, because we need more commercial. We need more businesses, all that kind of stuff. So I actually put a gas station in just there, which, you know, I thought made sense. It's going along this cliff road, which you might be driving to the highway on, you know, or getting out of the city or something. So I thought it made sense. You had to fill up there and continue on your way. Yeah, so just trying to fill out that little area. I cut it because it was becoming really difficult with the cliff. Like, honestly, working with hills and cliffs in this game, not easy. It's really not, because all the buildings want to be built on flat ground. No matter how much you try, they really love it. Yeah, so just sort of adding another pedestrian pathway to access this space. So this is, I guess, a little bit of a shortcut for pedestrians that get on the cable car. They can walk up this way a lot quicker than going all the way around. You can see I've actually added in a car park just there on the way up. Again, we'll have a closer look at all this stuff at the end, because I know it's hard to follow everything that's going on. It's also hard to follow things when I don't record it and, you know, we jump forward in time. So we'll have a better look and a closer tour there. Oh yeah, these are some of the new rocks. How cool are they? I know we saw them for like a second, but I think they turn out great when I start placing them everywhere. I'm just using it to sort of build around. They are kind of like the color of the vanilla cliff face, you can see. Not these ones. These are not those rocks. The other ones. But yeah, I think it looks so nice. I'm just doing lots of vegetation around here. Like, this is supposed to be a little touristy area. I did consider making the actual Coit Tower area a park, but I didn't do that because I figured it would actually be pretty hard to force pedestrians to walk through a park to get there. You know, are there smaller toll booths on the workshop? Surely, because I'd love to have like a toll for cars driving through here to be able to visit and park here, but I don't know if that's a thing that exists. I'm going to search that right now. Toll booth. Surely someone's made like a small one. Toll booth line. Old toll booth. Don't know if it's functional though. I don't know. There's definitely some stuff in the workshop. No idea if they're actually functional or just aesthetic, but anyway. Yeah, just doing a little bit of a fountain here at the roundabout at the end. Well, it's not really a roundabout. Turn around at the end. It's a one-way system, by the way. So you come up and you drive through the parking lot, and you have to turn around here and you come back down the other side. At the moment, I don't think it is, but actually, no, I have changed it now. You can see I've changed the way the lanes connect and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I'm very pleased with this little section. It's so cool. And I do a little public bathroom as well. So it is kind of like a park. You know, we've got a few pathways around. You know, I want pedestrians to be able to easily access this site, whether they're locals or tourists coming into the area. They should be able to get to the tower easily without having to walk on this tiny little pathway around a road. There should be some nice routes for them to go. So just a little fence there as well. You know, I'm trying to be pretty conscious about putting fences and safety railings in on stuff. I don't do it everywhere in the city, obviously. I'm sure if you zoomed in on a random space in the city, there's probably this cliff that would sheer off to nothingness. But, you know, in areas that we're trying to build up, I'm trying to make it look a little bit nicer. Oh, I put a cafe, not a public bathroom. That makes more sense anyway. So you can come here, have a little cup of coffee, go to the tower. You know, the markup on the coffee there would probably be a lot, but I think it's cool. I think it's really, really cool. Now here, because we already built Lombard Street inspired thing, I thought let's do a pedestrian path here because this actually provides a connection from the other tram line that runs into the newer area that we built quite a while ago and the other side of the city, you know, going across the bridge back to the original suburbs and the university. People can walk down here, get to the tram, get to the ferry. And this pathway, I made sure it connects all the way through to the beach side that we built recently, where we have the old cable car service as well. So people can actually get through here. You know, it's not a direct public transport connection, which, by the way, we actually probably need to redo some of those now that we've built such a big new area. It would make sense to have a look at some of those more closely. But yeah, this pathway creates a really good connection between a few of the services and a few of the destinations in the city. And I mean, you can already see how many people are walking down here. This is before I've built most of the area. So it is quite a popular route to travel on. And I think it's quite good, you know. And again, I'm building this inspired by Lombard Street, hence the switchback nature of it sort of zigzagging and also being red in color. I just think it looks really nice, you know. This would have been a good spot for the little Lombard build, but we've already done it, so we're not going to do that one again. I'm just doing a bunch of trees and rocks and stuff around it just to sort of blend it in, because those vanilla-looking cliffs, they look so bare. Like, there's just nothing going on, so we just need to add a few things on it and decorate it up a little bit. Some bushes and all that. Trying to make it look like, you know, semi-manicured, but also, you know, it would just be a little bit overgrown. It is just a cliff with bushes on it, so it's not supposed to be perfect. And I love these tiny one-unit streets, like how small and thin they are, which I think is perfect for all these hills. But everything looks so gray. Like the houses don't have any trees, the roads don't have any trees, so that's why I added in trees manually using the prop line tool just to add some tree lines along the roads myself, just to make it look a little bit more green and a little bit nicer. Now, this area is quite interesting. Now, you'd think at the top, this is like the top of this hill. You'd think you'd have some really nice houses or parks or something up here, but I actually kind of went the opposite way. I kind of made this semi-industrial and offices, and I kind of like it. I mean, maybe it's something we come back and change later on, but it kind of seems like this is something that has been in the city for years and years and years and years. You know, there's all these old warehouses here, these old office blocks. There's also even a waste transfer facility. So not like an actual garbage processing plant, so it doesn't pollute. But, you know, the local garbage collection goes to this building and then it's taken to the other facility for processing and all that. So that's up here too, which I think is, I don't know, I really like it. Obviously, it's not, you know, the most pretty thing, but, you know, cities in real life aren't always the most pretty either. You know, there's areas that don't make a lot of sense because maybe they were built years and years ago and they're not the nicest, but I quite like it. I gotta say, I quite like this little aspect of it. So that's the waste transfer facility. We've got some warehouses and some offices, and I like this area. It's not all just this, you know, there's some offices and then some commercial properties, and then we go back into houses. So it's not a huge area, but I kind of wanted a little bit of something going on here that wasn't residential because we're near this Coit Tower sort of touristy area. So there are some commercial stuff here, so people can go to the shops and all that as well. And there's some offices, so it's a little bit more built up. Also, because we're getting closer to where that theme park is, which, by the way, in the time that we've been doing all this building and time-lapsing, it's level 3 now. So we've unlocked a bunch more rides, which is fantastic, because at the moment it's really sad. It has like, what, a carousel, and that's it. So we can actually place in some more rides now, which again, I didn't do in this time lapse. I was actually leaving that so we could do that together in the live gameplay, which maybe we'll do today. I'm not sure because obviously this is already a very long video time lapse wise, let alone adding in some more stuff at the end, but we'll see how we go. Oh yeah, so this, if you remember, this is our waste processing facility. So all the transfer facilities, well, not all of them. I think if they're close enough, they'll be taken to this building and then processed. This used to be right next to where Bedford Is it Bedford? The little, the town that used to be Bedford, it used to be isolated. It used to be there, it was always temporary. Now I've moved it out over here. So this is by a river. I think this is a more permanent location. I don't know if it's 100% going to stay here, like, forever. But I tried to build it like maybe it was a bit more permanent. Like, I just wanted to at least look kind of nice, you know. So we've got a parking lot. We've got a few more roads around here. I do, like, a little bit of detailing here. Have, like, a back lot of just, like, shipping containers, random junk, and just random stuff hanging out. So it looks like a more cohesive facility where, you know, all the city's garbage is taken. Like, we've got the garbage dump there, the processing facility next to it. We've also got the recycling center there. So, you know, we've got a few different things going on here where hopefully a lot of the stuff is transferred and taken care of. Though I did notice the waste transfer facility that we put on top of the hill next to Coit Tower has actually filled up. And it hasn't been emptied yet. So I don't know if this is actually too far away from it. But that's something we might have to look into. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if that actually empties out or not. Yeah, just putting a bunch of trees and shrubbery around it to give it a bit more of a look like it's been there for a while rather than brand new. Because we don't want this to look brand new, even though I guess it technically is. But it's something that should have realistically been here for quite some time now. I mean, look, we're in the year 2105 right now in game. We're way in the future. We're way in the future. So we kind of want this to look like it's maybe a bit older than futuristic, because you know, the time scale in this game doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So let's not worry about that. The time scale and the amount of time it takes people to travel around the city doesn't make sense. Like, I mean, you guys have noticed it before. It takes citizens like 3 months to get across the city or something, or, you know, like a whole week to drive somewhere. You know, the time in the game and, you know, the simulation speed of, you know, vehicles moving isn't the same. So let's just pretend it's fine. So this is our little road there. That's where it used to be, that the one I just demolished. And I decided to put in a waste transfer facility just here. Because number one, it's next to all these rail and this big intersection. So it kind of seems like a space that makes sense in the city. Like it's a very loud area, not very desirable. There's a highway, 6 sets of train tracks, a big main road on a big corner. So I put in this guy just here. I might redo that road because it is very limiting into what I can actually place. Oh, and here, I actually wasn't sure about this. So I put in a train station here, and you'll see, and I have to sort of rework the rail lines a little bit. So put in a train station for Bedford, which will obviously continue on to elsewhere in the city later on. But right now, it can't really go anywhere because we don't have all the tiles unlocked. But yeah, I put this station in. Yeah, I mean, I just want to know what you guys think about it. I had to redo these train lines so that they line up better and sort of slope toward it a little bit nicer. I had to shift the highway a little bit too, which is fine because none of that was very permanent. The problem comes with it just creates this big division, which, I mean, is not always a problem, but we have to figure out how we want to cross it. And by big division, I mean, we got this big empty hillside just on the other side of this train line and the highway, which is now completely cut off. You know, we don't have a bridge to get over it. We don't have tunnels. And the question is, do we do tunnels? Do we try to get bridges? Maybe I should even raise up the highway and the train lines a little bit higher so we can just get a road underneath. So yeah, feedback on that and how we actually approach this section would be good. And also none of the stuff here, like the rail line and the highway, none of this is even really that permanent. Like you'd say, I have to remove a bunch of houses there. So a lot of the stuff that we put in this area was always temporary anyway. Like especially that highway, it will always go somewhere, but it won't necessarily be going in the current route that it is. You know, it might change or move around or whatever. So yeah, none of this stuff was was going to be super permanent. So maybe we can rework it if it's not quite right. But we'll see. I had to redo these corners because they were just way too sharp, even for my liking. Like, you know, I'm not always trying to go super realistic, which if I was, none of this would make any sense. None of what I've built would make sense if I was trying to go realistic. But you know, even for me, the corner on those trains was going to be way too sharp. And I'm trying to make this this sort of slope of the train tracks to be a lot more gradual. You can see I took it all the way along the length of that whole section. So it's about 1% grade, which I think is okay. Although I think trains are even supposed to be maybe less than that. Is it like 0.5% maybe? Although I don't know if like I said this last time too, I don't know if the percent rating in that mod is really the same as real life. I don't know. Look, I was trying to make it nice and smooth. That's all I can say. That's what I was trying to do. And I think I achieved somewhere along that line. I got there somewhere. And I just reconnected up the highway, so those go there. So now we have those two tracks that go behind the train station, the one that sort of goes in the middle. And I think that kind of is all... It looks pretty neat, but yeah, like I said, it really cuts off the other side now. There's no easy way to get to that big hill behind. I mean, the question is, do we turn that into a park? Do we put more building there? Do we do more suburbs? I don't know. Like, it's really close to the downtown of the city, so it probably should be something, whether it's a park or whether it is more zoning or whatever. I don't know. Now, also for a really long time, this whole riverfront was just blank. It was just going straight into the river. And I originally said that I didn't want to do a key all the way along here, but I went through and put a key on it and it looks so much better, especially because of how high the density is of all this area. Like, it's not like obviously skyscrapers, but we have a lot of apartment blocks and it is a relatively new looking area. Like, it looks like it's being built, recently, with all those medium rise apartment blocks that look fairly contemporary. So I decided to do the key all the way along the front. And essentially that whole band of green is just a big park with trees, nothing super fancy, a few gazebos, but it just neatens up the whole area and really finishes it off. And over these little sections, which, by the way, they're there because that's where the pathways, the pathway just lifts up the terrain. So wherever there's a pathway, there's a little bit of raised bit there. But I actually didn't mind it because, along a quay on a river, the banks aren't always, submerged in the water. Sometimes they're a little bit above it. It comes and goes. So I decided to just put some rocks there, sort of blend it in that way. And likewise on this section around Bedford, obviously this used to be a small town. It's now more, closely integrated into the inner city area. Like it's kind of like an inner city suburb. It's very close to the downtown. So I sort of neatened it up with some sort of river edge rocks there just to break the water and the waves a little bit. And just doing a lot more trees around this area along the foreshore here, just to make it look much nicer, much more like a park that you'd actually want to go hang in. Like, I think it'd be really nice to have all that green space. Obviously, I haven't made it an actual park, which I guess I could do, much like I have done with other ones, because it would be probably pretty easy to put a bunch of gates along that and get all the people to pay to just walk through it. Also, I changed the color of that restaurant. I don't know. I made it really bright green. The reason I changed the color is because right opposite it, there's actually another restaurant from the festival island. So it's the same building, but I was like, maybe if I change the color, it'll look better. Maybe I need to tone down that green a little bit. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, so I did a few gazebos there, and we briefly saw an overview of it. Like I said, it looks so much better. But we'll get a better look at the end of the time lapse. Now here, I decided to do something a little bit different again. So like I said, this is the big San Fran area. I don't want it all to look identical. Obviously, there's only so many buildings that we're actually using here. Like, there's 6 variants of the houses, there's not that much. So in this area, what I wanted to do is actually have the houses on this pathway. So the road keeps going up, but the houses are on this flat pathway instead. So they sit here, which you'll see in just a second. They still work because, at least I think they do. I haven't noticed if they're broken yet. They still work because they're close enough to the road that, services can get to them. So they're not technically on the pathway, but it kind of looks like they are. I could have built a road where that pathway is, but then we would have had a really awkward intersection. So I didn't want to mess around with that. So instead I did a pathway, hoped it was close enough to the road, and it seems like that it is. And then I'm using the Terraform network just at the back here to sort of get this cliff to hopefully work a little bit better for me, a little bit neater as well. Just doing some trees and greenery through the area. Just trying to fill in all these little gaps that are quite awkward. Like I said, being on the hill here, the terrain is so steep and so varied. There's only so much you can do in City Skylines. And a lot of what you can do is covering it up with trees. And I think it looks fine. Like, honestly, once you zoom out, it looks all right. If you look too closely, you're like, oh. But yeah, from a distance, it totally works. So trying to find something for this little corner. I don't know, maybe I do a little house there. I think I do, yeah. Just trying to see which one would actually fit, because it's a bit of a small space. That house totally does. I think I just do another one there, just technically a little bit long. Like, I think it's kind of hitting the other building, but it still works pretty nicely. And then just sort of filling that in. Like I'm really, really happy with that. By the way, that giant apartment block just there, I love that. Like it is so what a city would do. They'd be like, this area would soon be turning into these stupid high-rise buildings right next to houses. So I love that there because it's so bad. This like, I don't know, what is it, 30-story apartment block next to like a 2-story house. Perfect. Now here as well. Oh yeah, this is great because this is like an ugly old strip mall that's like right next to all these beautiful houses. Like I guess it's right next to this warehouse as well, but you'll see what I mean. Like at the moment it's not so bad, but then I build like this big like I guess loading dock section around the back of it, and it takes up so much space. But it's like ugly in a good way, at least in my opinion. Like I think it looks like something that was built and then not really considered. You know, it was like something that the city planning did, and then maybe later on they realized like, oh, yeah, that was probably not a good idea to build that, and not a good idea to build it that way. But yeah, I think this turns out in a good kind of ugly. So I do like a little road coming around the front, so you know you can pull in and park. It's a one-way road with parking, which is beautiful. And then we come around the back, we do a road here, and we put a big key around. So this is kind of like the loading area, you know. You get deliveries around the back for all these little shops, you know. So those houses there, those poor houses, I feel bad for them. In just a second, you'll see. So we get this big key, comes around the back, loops around the thing. And this is all near like that really nice big park with the painted ladies. So those houses look onto the back of this key. So that's there. It's essentially like a cliff, really, a big concrete cliff. And then I try to do a little fence around it, which I think I was trying to do like just a sort of wrought iron fence around the key, but it was kind of hard. I didn't want to use the nicer looking keys. Like I wanted this ugly one. I really did. So I tried to use that fence, but it doesn't work. Like it has to be on the terrain. Like it doesn't, you can't lift it up or anything. So I used the classic Sydney sandstone wall and sort of just lined it up alongside the key. I think I just cut all of that out because it took a long time. Oh, you can see it in the back there. Yeah, we'll get a good look at that later. It's, yeah, you can kind of see it there, what I did. There's like these shipping containers, there's like a truck, there's like dumpsters. It's like, ooh, it's good. It is juicy. Now, we're getting close to the theme park. In this area, I was taking inspiration from Luna Park in Sydney, Australia. And that is a little theme park that is alongside Sydney Harbour. It's really close to the water. But more importantly, what I'm actually taking inspiration from that is there's like apartment blocks like right next to it. And the people that live there always complain about the noise, even though they 100% moved or bought there after the theme park's already been there. I mean, that thing it's going to be over 100 years old, right? So surely no one that, hang on, let's see, Luna Park, Sydney. Surely no one that lives in those apartments bought or moved in after the park opened. Yeah, 1935 is since that park has been in that spot in Sydney in real life. And people still complain about it. Like, man, I'm sorry. Don't buy an apartment there. You know it's going to be loud. It's a theme park. Anyway, so I was taking inspiration from that in the sense that I'm doing these high-rise apartment blocks that are looking over the theme park. Now, I guess the idea with this is kind of like maybe a semi-newer area. Like maybe there was these old ruins that was turned into a theme park. And since then, and you can see like up the top of the hill where we have like the waste transfer facility, maybe that was sort of the outer edge of the city for a while. And then now they've started sort of expanding towards the water on this side. So there's these big apartment blocks trying to fit in a lot of people, especially because the noise would just be not very nice. You're right next to this theme park. And that's what we're going with. Oh, this is really cool too, actually. So I put this road here. You can see what I've been doing is I put that road right behind those buildings. Like they're really high up and this road is quite low down. And I actually end up putting some buildings inside of like these other buildings. Like you'll see what I mean in just a second here, because we got this big space down here and I was like, oh man, this is perfect. We can slide in like commercial buildings on the lower level. So all of this is actually functional and it kind of looks like the same building from above, you know, it kind of looks like that same building. Not these, I actually changed these because I was like, this looks kind of a bit silly. Like this doesn't look like it makes sense, but I changed it to buildings that I think make a little bit more sense overall. But yeah, I actually really like this because it means we have buildings on the top side that are accessible, ones that are on the bottom side that are accessible, and you get all this usable space that's sort of spliced in together and kind of hidden. And I think it looks really, really good. And it means this whole area is a lot more alive. Like you have a lot more people traveling to this area, not only because they live here in these big apartment blocks, but to go to these high density commercial buildings just here. And it's right near Coit Tower and it's right near the theme park. So this whole section of the city is becoming way more alive and way more used, because before, you know, well, one, it was empty. Like there was literally nothing here except for the theme park, and the theme park sucked. It was a 1-star park. So by putting all this stuff here, getting more things in, more reason for people to come to this area, you know, it just makes so much more sense than like, I mean, the other idea, I guess, was to not develop this area and have it just be a park and then have the theme park here. But I think that would have made way less sense than incorporating it into the city. And honestly, I think after building all this, if you see this and disagree that this shouldn't have been built up, if you think this area should have still been a park and not built up like this, then I think you're wrong. And this is my city, and so it's my rules. No, I mean, obviously you're allowed to have an opinion, but I really do think this looks awesome. I had so much fun building all this. Like, this is over the last, I don't know, week or so. Well, not a week. When was the last episode? A few days. Last like 3 or 4 days or something. I've just been chipping away at this, building piece by piece in this area, coming back, having a great time. Have an absolute great time. And I'm trying to make sure I'm doing some parks and services around here. I don't know if we have a great coverage of services and stuff. We're gonna have to check that out. I did manage to put some schools and stuff in the area, so that we still have, you know, education and all that kind of stuff nearby. But like I said, I definitely haven't really covered public transport very well in all these new areas. Like, I mean, I've built so many new roads and so many new houses. They're not all going to be easy to get to. I have tried to keep up with, as you can see right here, putting pathways in, making areas walkable. Like you might have seen earlier on, I didn't really talk about it explicitly, but I did a lot of those elevated pathways going up and over the cliff, so people could like walk up the cliff, which by the way would be super difficult. Like some of those pathways are so steep. I mean, in my head, I'm imagining they're stairs, not just a ramp. Like you can't easily build stairs in this game, at least not visually. Like you just have to use a path, which is a ramp. But I like to imagine when the paths are steep that they're just stairs. Also, those tennis courts that I placed there, first of all, I really like that asset. We've used that a few times in the city. But I was kind of imagining with Luna Park in Sydney has this swimming pool just near it. And it's like on a really steep cliff overlooking the water and the theme park and stuff. And, you know, I put those tennis courts there because it kind of reminded me of that. Obviously, it looks nothing like it. But, you know, little inspirations here and there. That's where that one came from, and I thought that would be a cool idea. Yeah, so this area here where we had the old factories, the waste transfer facility, got some more offices now, more commercial. Like I said, we're just really trying to get this area to be used and to make sense. Like it should be, like you can see that top of the hill was all built up. Oh, yes, this is the road. You can see I built the bridge. Like I said, the bridge is actually not very impressive. I actually should look to see if we can get some custom bridge assets or something from the workshop, because this is just a road that goes over the water. But it's more so what I do around this. Like, so this, I guess, in a way, was also inspired by San Fran. Obviously, completely different. I'm kind of thinking of the area around the Golden Gate Bridge. There's like these roads and parks near it. So obviously this is only a 2-lane road, so it's nothing like it. But I've done a little road that comes off the bridge because I did want it to connect down to the theme park. I figured there should be a way to get down to this area. Otherwise, you have to drive all the way around. So I've done this road that comes around the cliff underneath. It loops around and joins up to this main, I guess let's just call it the highway, even though it's a small road. Joins up to the highway just here, so it comes around. I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool that how it sort of climbs up around the cliff. I give it a nice smooth slope and do all these curves and one-way roads that connect up. You can see the other one comes up this way, so you can enter and exit from this road going over the water. Not only that, we turn this cliff area that's currently still blank into a national park. So we do another national park also in this time lapse. You know, like I said, so much done in this. I'm so excited with everything that was done today so far and still to come. So this area is like, I guess this is the main entrance to the national park. Although I guess it doesn't make a huge amount of sense in the end, because more people enter it from the theme park side, because that's just easier to get to. there's not really much public transport out this way. Like, I mean, the ferry's there, but it's quicker for them to go the other way. Anyway, so I do main entrance to the national park up here too. You'll see in just a moment. All these rocks as well. These are the custom rocks that I downloaded. We're going to see a lot more of them around this national park because this is supposed to be a big nature reserve right here on the water. I did think it was important. We did need to keep some of that aspect. I didn't want all of this just to be big buildings and houses. We needed some green space, especially near the city like this. These rock assets look great, by the way, don't they? I love that one there, that pointy one. It's got like a hole in it. We actually do a little pathway that walks through it. Oh, the pathways. Ooh, the pathways that go through this national park are so much fun too, because we do like elevated footpaths that sort of snake around some of the rocks. It looks great. It looks really, really great. So just, oh, look at that cliff. Like that cliff road, doesn't that look, oh, I'm so stoked. Honestly, it looks great. So this area here, I was trying to figure out what to do with it because around this road, it just has all this grass. Like, I don't know, it looks kind of weird with all these cliffs and there's just nice grass. So I was just trying to scuff it up with some decals and all that and just do some more trees and stuff just to hopefully, I guess, blend it in a little bit more and not look so like it sticks out like a sore thumb. Now this area up the top, that's where I guess most of the park is going to be. So at the moment, that's actually all you can see is set as the theme park, which we don't want it to be. We want it to be its own kind of park, so we're just refining this. You can see how big that theme park area was before because it was just an empty space. Like we didn't really know what any of this was going to be. So this here is our little main entrance. It's just tucked away under here, I guess underneath this highway we're calling it. And this little road that comes around, this is where our park is going to be. Apparently it's called Belmont Park, but yeah, feel free to suggest names in the comments. And names for the theme park, because that's still not named. There was probably names in the last episode. I should probably check. But yeah, this is our little main entrance. There's no parking here, like for cars or visitors. So actually what I ended up doing is changing some of the cliff road down by the ferry into a parking lot, which I also thought made sense for the ferry. So people could drive, park, jump on the ferry, etc. or whatever. We should set up more ferry lines from this point too, because it would just make sense. At the moment, it just goes to the other side, which doesn't really help anyone. There's like 1 or 2 people that use the ferry. It's really not a good service. So I think we should maybe change that. And maybe change where that cable car stops too, because it stops at the theme park, which is good, but it should probably also stop down by the ferry. It kind of just stops short, which is kind of stupid. It should be a really easy interchange, but anyway. So yeah, this pathway comes up here onto the top of this park. And same with this one, it just sort of snakes around. And we just have like a little sort of hilltop area, a couple of camping sites, and we have a few outlooks and all that. It's not going to be a super fun or crazy park, but you know, it's a really nice space to go close to the city is the idea. You know, we got a little fire pit there, a little walking sign. I think there's a little cabin down there too I just placed. And then up the top, we do a few, another little cabin, and we do a few, campsites, too, like I said. Just changing the trees on that so it blends in a little bit better, because it was a little bit, it sticks out a little bit with those default trees. I don't know how much of the pathways we get to see in this. Maybe here, I might have cut some of it out, because it did take a while to get some of them to fit. So, like I said, I put this lookout here, which I think is so cool, by the way. It sort of sits here, sticking out from the rocks, and then the pathway... There's an elevated footpath that sort of goes through this gap. Like you can see the rock here. I mean, it's hard to see, obviously, in the time-lapse, so we'll have a closer look later. Comes through this rock and comes out and around, then it sort of goes along the edge of the cliff here. I don't know. I think it is one of the coolest things. This whole national park and highway road area that comes around the cliff, I absolutely adore. Like, it turned out so great. And it's just kind of a shame that the theme park looks so bad at the moment. But like I said, it is upgraded. It is level 3 now, so we can add a lot more rides in, which we will definitely do very shortly once the time lapse is over. So yeah, like I said, this pathway took a while. I don't think we see all of it, but yeah, this is it sort of coming around. I'm just trying to position it properly, get it all to fit, and like I didn't want it to stick out too much. Like there's those big concrete pylons, which obviously there would need to be. I mean, ideally, it would just be like wooden, I guess, planks going into the cliff, holding it out, but, you know, can't really do that. So I guess I could maybe remove the pillars with a mod, but it's fine. I think it still looks really good. I think because I put like trees and more rocks under it, so it blends in a lot more in a minute when I do a little bit more detail around it. But to start off with, it looks a little bit like it sticks out a bit much. You can see here, I'm just trying to find the rocks that fit in a little bit better around this area. Yeah, so that tram turnaround, we gotta do something about that. It needs to go further. It needs to get down to the ferry, or something. I don't know. We obviously there's more work to be done. There's always work to be done, especially around the theme park. So let's not worry about it too much. These things get done in good time. Now, you know what? I'm glad that I recorded everything I did. Even though this time lapse is super long. I don't know if you guys are really into a super duper long time lapse like this one, but I'm glad that I recorded everything because there was a lot done. Can you imagine if we just started the episode and I'm like, hey guys, this is what I did. Here's what I did. Didn't record it. But I thought today was the day. Well, today was the week. This week was the week to record everything. Well, most things. Like I said, there was a lot of stuff I didn't actually end up recording because it was a bit tedious. Like there was a lot of houses I placed that I didn't record because it's just placing a house. It's like placing the same house a million times. It's not the most interesting to watch even in time lapse form. So we sort of worked around that a bit. Oh man, placing some of these trees was kind of annoying because you can see they come in and they're just floating and then I have to like move them down. But it's okay. It's worth it in the end. Really, really worth it. I love it so much. It's so cool. Look at that little lookout platform there. There's the ferry going by. Almost no one uses the ferry, but that's okay. There's people walking around there. I think they're walking around and going up to the main entrance of the national park, which is good, but we should probably give them better routes to get there. Oh yeah, and the national park just here next to the Coit Tower looks awesome. It looks really, really cool. Which actually we might be able to connect that up to, connect to the Coit Tower with a pathway through the national park, because that might mean some people go through the national park to get to the tower, which means they would pay to go to it, which would be good. So maybe that's something we look into as well. So yeah, here's some camping and just doing some tents, I think, up the top, and then I also do some cabin camping too, because I thought maybe it could be like a school excursion site. They go here, rent out the cabins, or like a summer camp or something. It'd be a pretty cool place. Oh, actually, this would be an awesome place for a summer camp. Can you imagine it? You go here to the cabins and then you spend a day at the theme park. Oh, that'd be cool. It'd be a great space. And then, yeah, just a few little the buildings around here, just to make it an actual place people want to go to. Because if you don't put anything in the park, none of the citizens will actually visit it. So we need to make sure there's actually attractions that they want to go to. So we did that. And then I'm just sort of adding enough trees in here because it's supposed to be quite a green space. Some big sort of redwood trees as well. Very, very suited to this style of area. You know what? I think this is... I was going to say one of my favorite areas in the city. It is. I think one... I was just thinking because, every area I build, when I build it, I'm like, yeah, this is my favorite. This is my favorite. The next one's my favorite. We also still need to go back to the stadiums, by the way, which I'm sure you guys know. But there's that big blank space by the stadiums I didn't know what to do with. That's still blank. And it really sticks out now. Now that I've built so much more, like on the hills and all that around the city, when you go over to the stadium area, there's like this big blank piece of grass, and it's just like, oh, that's just not done. I think we could probably just do pathways there or something. I think there was suggestions for... maybe just commercial buildings and stuff, or there was something else. Maybe it was like, I don't know if it's industrial or something. There was a good suggestion that was kind of well suited, but I don't know. We'll have a look into it. Yeah, so just doing the final little details on this area. Nice little fence, like I said, trying to incorporate some safety into this place, and also making this pathway not as steep because it is really steep, but there's only so much I can do to get it to work in this area. So I'm trying to make it okay, but it could be a good hike. Hike is a very loose term because it's only like a 20-meter long pathway. It's very short. Oh yeah, so finally I got around to doing this as well. Like there's been many comments to split up the cable car line, the historic cable car line. Not everyone was super keen on it going all the way down into the stadium area and then along the other beachfront. I thought it was fine because that is something that does I think maybe happen in San Fran. Or maybe it doesn't go along the waterfront, but it goes, I'm pretty sure it goes through like the city area or at least close to it. Anyway, whatever. I split up the historic line. So I removed the little cable cars aren't going to go all the way down here, especially because they're slower. They go to this point, this turnaround. So basically the end of the original San Francisco area and then go all the way through the new area, past Coit Tower, down to the theme park. And then we have a new tram line that fills in the last little gap here, which just has newer trams on it. So there's just like a little transfer spot here where these two tram lines meet. The bus line's also going past here, so there's also a bus stop just in this area too. So all of this stuff sort of culminates here as a nice little public transit, transfer section, which I think worked out really, really great. But like I said earlier, there's still a lot more public transport stuff we'd probably need to take a closer look at and maybe even redo. Like actually the bus line that runs through here, I think probably needs to be re-looked at because since we originally built it or placed it, the bus line, so many roads have changed. Like so much stuff's been added. It might not necessarily make the most sense anymore. So that's something we should have a closer look at. But yeah, I was trying to make this little area look a little bit interesting. Put a little fence around it. Actually, I also just remembered I need to connect the road back up on the mountain behind us. Or maybe I should just get rid of it. Because there's those two mansions that are left. The remnants of the mansion dream. Remember when this area was going to be mansions and then it turned into San Francisco? Yeah, there's still two of those left. And they're no longer connected to roads. So it's interesting. Also, I did note, a lot of people do switch tram lines here. Because I guess the original tram line, you can see there, they get off, get on the other one. So I guess it is being used, which is really, really nice. All right, it's time to jump into the game. For those of you that skipped ahead from the time lapse, there's a lot to go through. But for those of you that watched all of it, thank you. Let's have a look at the changes. So first up, this is the first thing we worked on was the tram section here by the big ferry stop. Obviously, a lot neater now. A little crossing here. I actually decided to put a fence around the tram line because, I thought it was kind of safe. It's a high pedestrian traffic area. There's a big tram track going through the middle. So we got a fence around it. There's a crossing through the parking lot to get to the park over here. And then I sort of redid some of these pathways through this section. And I think it turned out really, really nice. Like it's simple. It's obviously neatened up. It's a lot closer together now. Everything sort of flows a bit better. Did some sort of painting here. I really try to get these turns here to be smoother, but it's hard when you look. I mean, look at the size of this intersection. It's hard when the intersection looks like that to get it as neat as possible. But I think it turned out okay. So that's that little area. Now, I guess the second thing we can look at is so all along this riverfront here, where we did this quay. Before this was just terrain, because for the longest time I was keeping it just an edge like this. And I was like, yeah, we'll do something. I'll figure it out. I never figured it out. Turns out doing a quay, I think it looks very neat. I think it totally works. And if we zoom in. You can see the ferries traveling down here. We got the nice little sort of water break here with these rocks on the festival island with the little sort of fort there. And we got, this quay all the way along. It goes all the way down to this ferry stop and then comes into the sort of little rock water break around here. So I think that totally works. And then the rest of this is all just, trees, gazebos, parks. Oh, look at this city. Isn't this cool? Isn't this really coming together? I think it looks great. Now here, you can see all back there, this whole section, pretty much from here, behind this building, all along here, is all built up. But we'll have a closer look at that in a minute. Let's have a look at, what else did we do? I guess let's have a look over here at this bridge. So this is the bridge that I said I wasn't going to build. I wasn't going to do a connection there. Ended up doing it anyway. Don't look too closely at this. This is not final. I just had to connect the bridge somewhere. I think once we get the tiles over here, honestly, the bridge probably coming this way and having a more direct connection straight onto this highway would be really good. So if it just comes, I'm not sure how we're going to do it. Maybe sort of around up over this mountain here and join there so we can have essentially a bypass so all the highway traffic doesn't have to go through the city and it can connect here or directly onto this road and through. I don't know. But for now, it's just there because it just had to be. It's connected somewhere. But that comes across there, and it sort of joins back up over this side, which we'll have a closer look at in a minute. Yeah, what else did we do? There was a lot. Oh yeah, so this is what I was saying. I think these mansions are gonna go because they're no longer connected anywhere because I redid this little tram stop just at the end there. Whoa, that bus line is busy. I might need some more buses. So this historic cable car now comes around to this stop just over here. So this one stops here, and then it continues back through the San Francisco district. And the more modern trams just down over here, they stop just here. So that will come around, stop just here, and basically it's just a transfer and to the bus stop as well, which clearly we don't have enough buses, or there's something else going on there we'll have to have a look at. Yeah, so now the more modern trams run down this way instead of the cable cars, which I think is fine. So let's have a look through this area. So here you go. I mean, this is a look of the whole zone. You remember this? Remember this little beach with the shopping center by itself and nothing else around it? Yeah, not anymore. It's really, really built up. I think it looks really cool. Hang on, what we need to do, I think we need to change the lighting a little bit, the angle. The light, oh, around here somewhere, and then maybe that way. Yeah, sometimes just you got to get the right lighting. That's a bit better. So yeah, so we got this beach down here that we all know and love. And then that was the shopping mall that was, I guess, not as well loved. That was always a little contentious, but now we built up a whole area around it. You know, so around the back here, we got all these little shops coming in here, a little laneway. This is like a hotel from the Japanese content creator pack, which I think looks great, by the way. Beautiful building sitting right here. And then, so the cable car comes here. Redid this intersection here a little bit. You can see the trams go across there. And this parking lot no longer joins here. It actually comes from this area and has parking around like that, which I think looks so cool. And we got plenty of pedestrian paths. Also, just imagine that those are stairs or escalators. It looks like it's a ramp, but anytime you see these green ones, imagine there's like stairs or something, because they're pretty steep. But it provides really great connection for pedestrians to get around the place. Also, I love this parking lot here, by the way, going down the hill. That's so cool. All these shops here behind it as well. You know, it's really, I've really tried to fill in this area with loads of houses. Oh, so this is like this area here, this big park. Big sort of Alamo Square inspired area. Just there. Yeah, so I really tried to fill in this area with a mix of housing and commercial. So it wasn't exactly the same as this area. Because this area over here that we did a few episodes ago is pretty much all just housing. It's all just housing, and we got the beautiful Lombard Street to sort of top it off. I think that looks great. But over here, this is much more a mix of commercial, even a big parking, multi-story parking lot, houses, you know, this park here, this dirty sort of old industrial office area. And then we also got the iconic Coit Tower up on its very special spot, which we'll have a closer look at in just a moment. Yeah, so that's all this area. And oh yeah, so through the middle, if we look from above, if we follow through here, that's a pathway. The pathway goes all the way through all these roads and then comes down here and joins through. So essentially, what we're doing is giving access to this tram line and people to get up there, walk through up to this whole area, or walk all the way to the beach to the other cable car line. Or they can walk through here and get all the way, they can keep walking through this area and actually get all the way down to the ferry, all the way over here, and to this tram line, you know. So there's a lot of connectivity that I made sure to plan into the area there. And then it sort of just connects up down this way as well. These houses sort of come down into this area, using the more sort of townhousey looking ones here because it sort of blends better in with these apartment blocks. And that sort of comes through there. Lots of cliffs around this area, so I'm just trying to make them look green. A little bit more interesting. I think it looks quite nice. Like, I think that looks good. So that's the big park there. Back over this way, big cliff here, little gas station down there. I think it looks good. These houses here sitting on the side, these are a little bit more desaturated, I think, but I quite like that. It doesn't detract. You know, we're going to be looking at the area from like back here, so I think it looks quite adequate. Yeah, so then if we move into this area, this is where we sort of got a mix of stuff going on here. So obviously we've got the historic and, you know, iconic Coit Tower sitting up here. Nice big tourist area. Got a cafe here. We've got a one-way road system. So you drive up here, you have to go through this parking lot. So you can park here, and then to leave, you sort of go up and around, do a little turnaround, and you come back down and around this way. And there's more parking down this side too. Which I actually really like the way this works. And we've got plenty of pedestrian paths around the area too, connecting it all up, and it's sitting on this area. All these rocks. I mean, look at this road coming around this cliff here with all these nice new rocks that we've got. Like, this road, I think, looks so cool. So cool. I was almost going to try and get it through one of these, but I don't think the gaps are big enough for a road, unfortunately. Or at least the way that it lined up, it was really hard. Like, I tried. But, you know, I think what we got is very nice. That comes all the way around over here. Nice jagged cliff edge. Comes up and over, that's the bridge. But you can turn off here to the right, come down, and this is the entrance to our new national park, which is this area sitting here next to the theme park. Yeah, nice little pathway through the area, lots of camping, a few little attractions. My favorite, though, is this guy here, this little lookout. You come around this pathway, if we go back over here. Oh, I gotta move that fence, that's all right. You come around this pathway that sort of hugs the cliff edge. Not only do you get a great view on this pathway alone, you come through the rock face and stick out here at the end. Like, I think that is amazing. Pretty cool view, and especially when we build up the theme park a little bit more, it looked really pretty cool too. Speaking of cool views, looking back, we can see the cable car line. This is the more modern area. You know, this is built more recently, these apartment blocks and all that. So they're trying to get more people in. We've got all these ugly offices. This is like the sort of older industrial office area. Kind of, I guess, almost the edge of this section of the city. You know, it kind of used to end here, and now they're building more this way toward the theme park. So you've got all these newer buildings just here, coming down the cliff. A few multi-story parking lots for the theme park, which we will add on to soon. And then we've got the waste transfer facility here, a public library as well, which is probably not ideally placed next to a waste transfer facility, but, you know, it is what it is. And then this really, really sad, old-looking strip of a little strip mall. Oh, there's 2 mobility scooters parked there? I didn't even know those were in the game. There you go. Yeah, this really old strip mall, and it has this really ugly, like, loading dock area behind it. And I love it because it's so ugly, and it's got this huge wall. Like, you're back here. Like, you can't necessarily see how bad it looks there, but I mean, like, there's a big, ugly wall right there for these houses. I love it. I love that thing there. I think that totally works. That is, I mean, there's so much I could show you up close in this area. Like, there's all these pathways going through. They can actually walk along this quay here as well. Yeah, there's so much I could show you, but, like, otherwise we'd be here for another 50 minutes just going through the looking, you know, at it afterwards. Yeah, so that's kind of all of this, which I'm very, very pleased with. I think there's probably a few other things I did, to be honest. There always is. Oh yeah, the trains. I totally forgot. So over here, this is where I added a new train station for Bedford. So this goes here. I don't think there's many people that use it. It's not really useful because it only goes from here to the central station, which at the moment doesn't make much sense, but obviously later on it could probably go out this way somewhere or even come up over here. I don't know. It'll go somewhere. Right now, not many people use it, but it's there for the future. So this is the new train tracks. We sort of slightly moved them. They're slightly more elevated, the highways there. And what I was saying in the time lapse is it creates this division, like a really harsh division between here and here. We do have a road over this side, so we could easily get through over here, but there's no easy access on this side. And now whether that we create like a tunnel or a bridge or something, I'm not sure. Whether we don't put anything here, maybe not, but it's so close to the downtown, it should be something. I mean, maybe another park like this area, but it's really big. Like, it seems like there should be something going on there. Not entirely sure yet, but I think, oh, this looks so cool, doesn't it? This whole, like, having that all, like, filled in now. Not all of it, obviously. We've got these hills here still. Oh, and these mansions, you've got to get rid of those. I'm actually not sure what we're doing with this area yet either. I don't know if I want to do more of this stuff, because then we might be getting too much. Like, we got a good amount of all these houses and stuff going on now, but I think too much more and we might overdo it. But yeah, so that's that. And then I think there was probably just some intersection work here and there. Occasionally I go through and like change some lanes. We really gotta do something about this roundabout. It's really bad. Like, it's not too bad, but there is a lot of traffic on this road, and this roundabout isn't enough for it anymore. So that is something to look into, but not right now. And also, actually, the same thing up here. You know what? We need to spend an episode in industrial, because I mean, we've had this area almost since the start of the series, you know, and we have this one cargo station, which clearly everyone's trying to use, and this roundabout is not sufficient. We need to do something about that too. This is pretty much where all of our industry is, which is not a problem, but we need to, you know, bolster it up with better infrastructure, make it more accessible. All right, enough of the tour. Let's have a look, make sure things are working. Oh, the waste transfer facility is working. It's 99% full. So it is being emptied by our waste center. Oh, this is what I didn't show. Yeah, so this is all the waste center. So this is where it moved. The waste center is out here now, and a dump and a recycling center. It used to be just here, and it was always temporary just here, and now that we've got this tile unlocked, it's built out that way. So that's over there, which I think makes a lot more sense. And yeah, that's that. Yeah, so that, I guess it is working, but it's real, like this is really far away. Like you can see, if we go to this, look how far away this is. This thing is here. That's all the way over there. And there's a few other waste transfer facilities that are closer. So it might be a long time before it gets emptied. I'm wondering if we build another transfer facility. Maybe, well, when we unlock, we need to unlock more tiles. When we unlock over here, we could probably build one over here somewhere. Because we're going to do an airport over that way. That makes sense. Right, this is a very long video. And we did a lot in the time lapse. So we're not going to do a huge amount now. But let's plan out at least a little bit more of this theme park, because we've got more rides. We've got them. You know, we unlocked them. Let's have a look. We did the carousel. We don't have the piggy train. Yes. We might. I'm just gonna put these down. We'll probably have to move them. So piggy train. We got rotating teacup. Oh, these are tiny. Okay, we're probably gonna have a lot of room. You know what? Let me move this piggy train already. I'm gonna put it this way. It's gonna sit here. I'm not sure how big the roller coaster is. We haven't unlocked that yet. I think it's pretty big, but I don't think it's that big. Oh, no. Just here. Oh, there's a road there. Why is there a road? I guess I never removed it. My bad. Hang on. This guy, yeah. Yeah, move it more in the corner. Move that there. And I think I need to do another pathway, maybe? Just here. I'm not sure if we can fit other stuff here, but we'll see. Yeah, this is good. I really don't like these tiles that they put on them, but I guess it is what it is, and we just gotta work with it. Oh, cool. We just got more rides. Fantastic. So actually, what do we need to do? We need more visitors. We need way more entertainment. We don't need that many more visitors, so we're actually probably pretty close to getting the next level. Might actually be able to get everything unlocked this episode. We've got the teacups. We need the pirate ride, the pirate swing. That can go over here. I think this is all pretty small. House of Horrors. Oh, this is a bit bigger. Where should this go? Ooh, a bit of screaming. I think over here, if I put it... Oh, there's trees? So I think if I put it back here, and maybe move this... that doesn't quite fit there, does it? I kind of wanted it tucked in the... You know what? I might need to leave... Actually, maybe I can go in the middle. Like, what if we get rid of this stuff? Actually, there's a big plaza, isn't there? Hang on. There's all this stuff. The bumper cars. There was like some other thing. Amusement Park Cafe 1. Park Plaza. Yeah, this actually fits like almost perfectly in the middle here. As much as I like this, and the original map creator who made this little section, this has got to go. Because this is where we are putting the little plaza. Because, I mean, it's like the perfect spot for it, right in the middle. Let's do that. Sorry, guys, that's got to go. But yeah, look at this. Let me turn off collision, actually. Oh my gosh, that is... Did they make this for a theme park, this area? Because whoever made this map, like, it's like perfect for a theme park. I guess I'll put this... I mean, yeah, I can go there. Maybe we'll just do some more decorations and stuff. We'll have to detail this up with some more things. Let's have a look at our entertainment. So we need to get to 2,000 before we get to the next level. Now, what did we place out here? A lot of this stuff we could actually move inside if there's lots of room. I just didn't think we'd have room. So restrooms, cafe, souvenirs, game. What else do we have? Is that all that stuff just here? So plaza, cafe, souvenir, wait, yeah, we had restrooms. We could probably do more restrooms though. That's probably a good filler building, to be honest. So we just put that there. It's just another building to have. More of these would probably be good too. You know, we should probably let's maybe move some of that in a minute. Let's get some more rides though. So we've got this one, bumper cars. That can go maybe over here. Have a look, maybe there. We've got the drop tower ride. Ooh. This can go here somewhere maybe, in this corner. And in this corner, the drop tower ride. Pendulum. Oh yeah, this fits well here. Ah, what is... Okay. It's weird. Okay. Very cool though. It's just, okay, I need to like, it needs to be like along a pathway. Maybe it needs to go here, and I need to move these things. Okay, you go there. And then, hello? Oh, I think it auto-saved. You go there, and then, okay, yeah, this sits better here. There we go. All right, so this goes over here. I'll drag that. I'm just going to drag it into the wall so it doesn't have the round end, because I think it looks a bit neater. Because that fits like perfectly over that side. Okay, I gotta rearrange all this stuff now. Let's see. Actually, what else do we have? Okay, that's all we've got unlocked right now. So I guess the next level we get the roller coaster and the Ferris wheel. Alright, so I'm gonna get this path around the side here. I'm gonna get it right on the edge, because then we can hopefully fill in this little gap here. So move this guy. Let's go right in the corner. So you gotta make your way into the park for that, you know. That's not a freebie. This can go here. We got a little gap here. Oh, does this fit? Ooh, that'd be good. Actually, this fits better there. Let's move the pirate ship right away. Let's get this. The piggy train. You gotta go past the piggy train to get to the drop. Okay, this is looking good. We're getting some good density. Still some gaps, but I mean, that's like trees and stuff we can put in there. And then the teacups and the pirate ride can go... I think potentially... Maybe if I move the bathrooms, actually. Can they fit over here a little bit better? Not really. Now, I don't mind them being kind of in the wall. Like, I don't think that's a bad thing. Because it looks like it could just be half a building. Because that just gives us this space here to plonk this guy in. Right there. And then the teacups can go, I guess for now, just there. And we'll have to figure out all the other stuff later. So what are we at? Oh my gosh, how are we not at 2,000? We need one more thing. And then we're just going to get more visitors. So let's get, well, we've got all the rides, so we need some other building. Like maybe just another game booth or something. Or even just another souvenir shop. Let's do that. Let's do another souvenir shop, maybe just over here. That should be enough now, right? Wait, that doesn't add entertainment? Oh. Oh wait, no it does. Okay, cool. Alright, so we're just gonna get more visitors. Can I? Oh, we've already got advertisement campaign. Okay. Well, I mean, it's a pretty popular part. It looks like we got more people coming now, so it should get going. I guess we don't really need the path. Does anyone? I don't think anyone walks around the outside, do they? Because that'd be a long way to go just to get inside. But that's looking pretty cool. That's looking pretty cool. Alright, so the other thing we need to do whilst we're waiting for that to level up is, well, there's a lot of stuff we need to do. This waste, let's see. 90% full. Okay, it's getting empty, it's getting empty, it's getting there. Any other issues that have arisen? That cemetery's full, so I'm going to start emptying that. I think a few other ones are too, I noticed around the city. Every so often I sort of just go around, empty them out, and then let them fill up again. Oh, that one's done. Get that to fill up again. So yeah, I wanted to look at public transport through the area because it is a little dicey. Like we don't have much, you can see. Like we've obviously got the tram lines, and also this bus line, by the way. Let me have a look. No, didn't mean to place that. This bus line, can I just like this? I don't want this whole window here. How do I? Oh, there we go. So the pink or the peachy bus line. It's a little strange, isn't it? Actually, can I view just the bus line, please? Oh. I don't, hang on. Can I view just my peach line? No, I don't. There is a way to do it. I don't know how to do it. Anyway, so it goes, it's kind of weird. It also kind of follows the same route as the tram, as this purple tram here. So it goes from the stadiums, which is fine, but it doesn't really need to because we got that. And then it comes through Bedford Square a little bit, which is good. Comes here, covers that area, then it goes through here, transfers with the trams, which doesn't make sense because it already can get onto the tram here. And then it sort of does weird turns, like it comes through this area, goes underneath and around, comes back this way. I mean, it is a popular line, don't get me wrong, but I think we could probably make the route make a little bit more sense. I mean, look how many people are waiting here. Like, what is going on with this bus line? I think it just needs to be completely redone. Like, there's so many people waiting at this stop as well. I think, let me have a look. I'm not going to remove it until I know what we're going to do with it. So I don't think it needs to go down to the stadiums because we've got the tram lines. There's many there's like 1, 2, 3 tram lines. I'm struggling to count them. We got one purple, one red, and another purple one here. 3 tram lines. One specifically going where the same bus goes, so there's no point for it. But yeah, having the bus go through Bedford Square is good. Then it sort of gets a little bit lost. it kind of does weird stuff over here. But I'm not even sure really how to change that. Maybe the tram line, maybe this purple tram line needs to come down here. Because we got another one here, but maybe the tram, instead of stopping here, needs to keep going instead of the bus. Because it could come down here, link up with these tracks, and maybe come up this road. and along. Or is that a bit weird? It's kind of hard to, because we need to get, it needs to go somewhere. You know? I guess what the bus does, the bus covers this lower section, which the tram doesn't, which is good. So we could just build tram track and then link up, and then we'd probably have to come back up this way maybe. Just trying to think how the tram could get back. We need to turn around somewhere. That's the problem with trams, is when you get to the end of the line figuring it out. What if we could do a turnaround here? Like what if we came here and around like that? Something like that. I mean, that is super sharp turn. I need a... if I can slide it further this way, I can probably make it wider. But it's still really sharp, so obviously I have to adjust it more, but... I think I can make this work. I don't know if it's a great idea. Okay, I mean, I've made the turns wider. Don't know if it's any better. And then it comes back through this way, which is fine. Can I square that? I can. That's nicer. So then we could have a tram or do a stop here. Then it comes back down this road and goes up this way. Which is the idea. So let's get out the tram tracks and have it go this way. Up this road. To here, and then through here and to there. So then that means we could get this tram line and extend it. So instead of... Well, I guess we could still stop there. I guess there's no reason not to. But I might change it to the other side of the track. So it stops there, then comes down this way. Oh, hang on. I think the tram tracks aren't connected here because of the way I did it. Can I, will you just reset that? I think we're good now. There's a lot of tram tracks going on there. I might need to neaten that up. I don't know if this is a good idea anyway, but we'll see. So, purple line from here. We want to stop on the left, please. I can't stop where the bus stops, so we'll go there. But yeah, the idea is we're potentially getting rid of this peachy bus line. And then, you know what? I need to change the color of this tram line, because it's the same as the other one, and it ain't working for me. So this tram line can be... Let's go yellow tram. There you go. That's better. Yeah, that's better. So we definitely need to stop at the train station. Problem is, there's a lot going on here already, so it's kind of hard to... Because I have to stop all the way down here. Because I can't... You know, I need to move these bus stops. The bus is what's messing me up. What if we go... Bus stops... I guess I'll just move it further down the road. Bus stop further down. There you go. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. This is yellow tram time now. There we go. That stops there, and then we'll do another yellow tram stop down here. So we'll just use this spot where there's no traffic. We'll come back up. Which will stop there. At the same as the purple tram. And then I guess here. Whoops. And then it should stop somewhere in here as well, which makes sense, I think. Like that. Okay, let's try that. I'm curious. Because the bus line is just so weird, and I don't really like it. Because, yeah, the bus comes down this way, turns around, goes back, loops back around on itself to there, and then, you know, it's just... I mean, it's that way because of the way the roads are. So, I mean, it's obviously my fault. That's just how it is. But... You know, I think we can do better. It also might alleviate some of the traffic there. I might need to put bigger trams on this track, because these are, well, they're not bad, 105, but I don't think it's enough, you know. Do we have any going down there yet? Don't think so. I think the first one will be coming up now. So this guy should go, it goes in here. Well, that turn, I might need to make that a little smoother. Stops there. Sorry, cable car. Wait your turn. Although, I don't think they really should, dude, chill. I don't think they really should be sharing the same track. I don't think that makes a bunch of sense. So that goes down this way. Stops here. No, stops there. Whoa, yeah, look at this. Look how many people want to use it. Way more popular than the bus. A lot of people just got off the bus. Are they going to get on the tram? I think they are. They just got off the bus to get on the tram. Alright, then goes the tram. Oh yeah, if you get this road, it makes a bunch of traffic lights. I should probably get rid of, but we don't need them. It comes down and stops just here somewhere, doesn't it? Right there. Beautiful. Look at that. Let's have a look. I'm curious to see how many people are waiting down here on this little section. Oh, they're kind of dead. And by dead, I mean they're like inside this wall. Alright guys, there you go. So there they all are, waiting by this. Let's have a look at this going around this corner. Actually, it's not... Look, it's not too bad, except for those cars driving through it, because it's a single piece. I think if it had articulated sections, it might look weird. 55 people, pretty good. I'm going to have it a guess that a bunch of them are going to get off up here. Whoa! Oh yeah, I never mentioned this. A while ago, I actually upped the train capacity to 800 because it was getting ridiculous. Like, I mean, we have... Wait, how many? 6 trains on this line. And we're still getting, you know, huge numbers. 100 people still waiting there. Obviously, these trains aren't full now, but at their peak, if they're only at the default is 400. At 400, they're just not coping, and I'd have to add more trains. And the problem with adding more trains is that we have so many level crossings. Adding more trains was just creating traffic. Like the traffic couldn't move, which I think is already still pretty bad. I mean, look at this. Like it's not great. And having essentially these closed 100% of the time, it wasn't working. So I just upped the capacity of them. How's this going? Is this is going to be getting close now, right? Info. Ugh, we need another 2,000 visitors. I was kind of trying to stall for time. I guess that might have to wait till next time. But I think overall looking pretty good. Belmont Park is ready for the next level. Just need more visitors. Not a huge amount of people going there yet, but you know, it's getting there. I think overall things are looking pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, I think I need to... Oh my gosh. I still need to work on the trams through this area and the buses. And the public transport in this whole section, I think, needs to have some work on it. So yeah, I guess that's something we'll look at. But make sure to leave your comments, suggestions, and feedback down below on that. Let me know what you think of the new area, the new build. I mean, can you imagine last episode? This was all blank. We just had a random road going up the hill. And people are like, that looks weird. And yeah, it did look weird, but now it looks sweet. I haven't gone over here yet, though. I'm not sure if I'm just building more roads here. I guess I should. Otherwise, it needs to be something. Maybe we could do another park, maybe? Because I don't mind this area ending here, but maybe we need something here. Like, I don't know. There should be... Maybe we could do, like, an old road. Like, we got this road coming around this way. Maybe we have a road that comes around here as well. And just joins up somewhere. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked a really big time lapse. Because I just felt like we needed to get some work done. And we got it. We got it done. I mean, look at this place. City overall is looking so cool. I'm so stoked. Then we're going to start going this way. We need to build a zoo, too. The zoo was planned to go here. And I think potentially still the plan. Let me know your thoughts on the zoo in this section. But thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. And have an awesome day.